Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my afternoon tea time and a card. So I changed things up a little bit this week. I had told you guys I would be doing a card fold, but because we have this promotion coming on and I played with some of the dies this week, I have some really pretty cards I want to show you today. So the Perfect Partners is 6 die sets that will be debuting on September 1st. Now these are all stamp sets from the annual and mini catalog that sold by themselves, and Stampin' Up has come out with some dies. So I'm going to be, and what I want to stress, even though this is September 1st to September 30th, only a month-long promotion, they are going to be as supplies last. So make sure that you order those on September 1st when they come out. So the one I'm using today is going to be the Apple Harvest. The new dies are the Apple Blossoms. You can see here there's quite a few dies, 25 total. And I want to show you a tip on one of the cards that I've been showing. So I've been featuring this set all week on my blog and on Facebook. Let me show you the cards that I've shown so far. This was the first one that I did. I stamped the flowers diagonally on the background and then added these layers. I want to show you how I made this because the label, look how long it is. I'm going to show you a little trick on shortening that up. Card number 2 that I showed was this one, and I added some of the loose flower embellishments. You can see them right here. I just tucked them in under the stamped and die cut flowers. But I just love adding the dies to this set. Look at this one here. That's the scallop. It does this little skinny scallop. And then I kept the guts. I call them guts, leftover pieces. I tucked that under and then glued this little piece. And my final one is the one I posted for today. All I did was glue a whole bunch of die cut flowers on a piece of basic white and then cut out with another die. So I used some die cuts and then I cut out the die cuts with another die. And then I have an embossing folder for the background. Now before I show you the little tip, I want to, with the label, another set that I own is the this Birthday Piggy, which I showed you guys last week. And then the dies, the Playful Piggy, 18 dies. And again, I haven't used it yet. I'm going to work on this week so I can have some cards ready for next week. But I told you last week I'm so in love with this little wagon. I can't wait to use it. Okay, let me just show you quickly. So I've gone ahead and stamped and cut the sentiment out. I went as far to the left as I could. I'm going to bring my die cutting machine in. And I want to shorten that up because it's so long. So what I'm going to do is actually place this back on here. I want it about there. I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to secure it. And you'll see how I'll make that smaller. So that's why I like the size of this die, because you can actually alter. So I've cut out this piece and you can see, let me move these out because I'm going to be using this. I'll move this out. But see how I made that shorter? Look how much shorter it is. And it still looks like the die was shaped with that length. So just a little tip when you're using this set. Now I am doing some stepped up cards with you tonight. I do that quite often with you. I'm going to start out with a clean and simple card, and I'm going to step it up twice by adding additional layers, additional embellishments. I even have a technique at the end for the third card. So this is the first card. This is my clean and simple. All 3 cards use the same 2 layers. This is our new color, Sweet Sorbet, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to glue a piece of basic white, 5 inches by 3 3/4. That's going to go on the front. And then I need to dig this paper out so I can show you. The designer paper I'm using is the In Color, our 5 new colors. Look how pretty these are. We've got the Starry Sky, Orchid Oasis, Parakeet Party, Sweet Sorbet, and Tahitian Tide. But you can see all the patterns. That's what I'm using. And this, all 3 use the same piece again, 3.5 by 2. And I'm going to glue that about 3/4 of an inch up on the white. Okay, so there's my 3 layers. Now I'm going to bring in my scrap piece to do my sentiment. And the ink colors I'm using for all 3 cards is Memento Tuxedo Black and Sweet Sorbet. I'm going to do the sentiment first. And I didn't even measure. All I did was use a scrap piece of white. And I'm going to trim. Wait, let me cut this way first. I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not even measuring. Okay, there's my sentiment. And then I'm going to bring my scissors in and do a banner. I'm just going to go up in the middle and then corner to middle and corner to middle. I'm not going to glue that on first because we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Now I am using this image on all 3 cards. I've colored some ahead, so you're just going to watch me do one today. I don't want you to have to watch me do the same image for all 3 cards. So Memento Black. And I'm using blends markers. I'm using Soft Suede Light, So Saffron Dark, Sweet Sorbet Light and Dark, and Soft Seafoam Dark, Light and Dark. I'm going to start out by coloring the branch with the soft suede. Hold on, I need to get a pad. I always keep a pad under when I'm coloring so that it can absorb some of that color if it goes through. So this is just the branch, pretty easy. Now with the So Saffron, what I did is the center of the flowers. I kind of just did that a little bit down here. And I also did the inside of this apple where you can see the shading. I'm going to bring that up closer, you guys can see it. So that's pretty simple, pretty light, and I wanted to keep it that way. Now I'm going to do the leaves. I'm going to start out with the dark, just outline the veins of the leaf. And then I'm going to color with the light over that. This is pretty easy to color. And if you don't want to use the light and the dark, you can just stick with one color. Now on the apple, you can see there's black shading already. So that's what I'm going to follow with the dark. I'm just going to follow those little dark areas. That kind of gives you a guide to go by. I know a lot of you guys like to say you like to watch somebody color. Okay, now I'm going to add the light, and wherever the color meets, we're going to blend. It's going to be hard for you to see that on the camera. But these color so well. Okay, I'm just going to blend where they meet. And that's it. Look how quick that was. So there's my colored image. Now we need to cut this out with the die. So I'm going to bring my machine in one more time. And let me get another piece of tape. We're going to place that around the image. Cut that out. I will need to use my machine for each card because I'm doing something different on each card. You'll see as I go. Okay, so there's my little die cut. What a difference. So now this one is easy to finish. We're just going to add dimensionals to the apple and also to the sentiment. I'm going to glue the apple first because I'm going to overlap the sentiment. Okay, so this is going to go right here. And we're going to overlap that just a little bit. Okay, there's my clean and simple card. Now we're going to step that up a little bit. So let me show you what I'm going to use next. We're going to use the same 3 pieces. I've already gone ahead and colored my flower and did my sentiment. I'm going to add a little piece of a Daydream designer paper. That's 3 inches by 1. But I'm also going to add some embossing with embossing folder and some sequins. Now these are called adhesive backed seasonal sequins. I'm going to use this color because it matches the colors that I'm using. And that is this card. Look at the embossing on the white layer. I hope you can see that. What a difference. And see a couple sequins and then just a little sliver of designer paper. So I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I forget to get the name of this folder. I usually put a little label with the name. I can look it up at the end. Okay, I'm going to put that in. Bring my machine back in. And let me switch up my plates. So now I'm going to run the embossing folder through my machine. And look at the magic. And even side number 2 is nice as well. This is like the flat side and this is the bumpy side. Okay. So again, 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. Now this is going to be quick only because everything's already cut and stamped. We're going to glue the designer paper, or the embossed paper I should say. So look at the difference when you look at the white and the embossed. Look how much prettier that is. We're going to glue the designer paper in the exact same location as the first card. Now, on this designer paper, I'm going to add another banner. So again, up the middle, corner to the middle. And I'm going to glue that about 1/4 inch below the top. And let me get my dimensionals. Now see how much quicker this is without you having to watch me color again. I colored all the images the same, so it makes it easier. I'm just going to pull the backing off. And it's funny, whenever I do stepped up cards, I always do 3 for you, and everybody seems to like number 2 better. It's kind of in between the wow card and the clean and simple card. Okay, we're going to do the sequins. I'm going to add a big one, a little one, and another little one down here. Okay, so there's stepped up card number 1. We got 1 more to go. Okay, let me set up for that one. Now the only difference on this one, I'm using the soft seafoam seam binding ribbon, and I have a 14-inch piece. This time I did 2 of the apples and cut them out. Same designer papers, same sentiment, same card base and white. We're going to do a technique this time. I'm going to do the technique first before showing you the card. Okay. Here, I'm going to move this over because I need my machine again. Now, this time I'm going to use the embossing folder. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I'm going to ink this up. Now, when you feel on the inside, this is your flat side. This is the one with the bumps. This is the side that we want. So it would be the one opposite the logo. We're going to take the Sweet Sorbet and we're just going to tap. Make sure I get ink everywhere. Okay, I've got it all inked. Now, to make it easier, I'm going to add the cardstock right here. I'm just going to move this over for a second. Bring in my machine. Now, this is where I'm going to make sure it's nice and straight, and I'm going to push the ink down. Put this on the plate. We're going to run that through, and then I'll show you the completed card. Okay, I'm going to open this up, plop that out, and look what I just did. So I just added my own stamped background by using the embossing folder. Let me bring my pieces back in, and look how pretty the background is on this card. Isn't that neat? So now we're going to glue this first. I'm going to use liquid glue only because the bumps are now on the reverse side. And sometimes when you use a roller adhesive, those bumps will come off. They'll actually peel off. So look how pretty this is up close. It looks like designer paper. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of hearts, you guys. You guys like this. Oh, and one tip, if you guys try this, all you need to do is run this under water, under the faucet, and this will come right off and you can just wipe it dry. One thing I will tell you, do not use black ink, even the Memento, because it does stain your folder. Okay, so there's card number 3. We're going to do the same with the designer papers. So glue that. We're going to banner this. Even though most of it gets covered, I still bannered it. I bannered it, you guys. Okay, we're going to add this right here. Now we've got 3 pieces to add dimensionals to. And I will draw a name for all 3 cards once, probably tomorrow morning, from all the comments. For those of you guys that watch this later on YouTube, I always do the drawing for my Facebook comments. Okay, now we're going to add these. I got 2 of them, so I need to kind of spread them out. We're going to put this one like so. And you know what? You could do a bunch of these and do a whole background with these apples. We're going to add this one just a tad bit higher. And then I'm going to do my sentiment and tuck it in under this one and then put it over the other one. Now I'm going to do my bow. I did a double bow, and I like to use my bow maker for this. So I just wrap it around twice. And this makes the nicest bows. My husband came up with this pattern. And since he's no longer here to make these, my son makes them now. So if you guys are interested in these, I do still have some for sale. Just contact me. Okay, look how quick that double bow was. It's just perfect. Now let me cut up the tails. I do triple bows with this also by wrapping it around 3 times. Now I'm going to get a glue dot. And as always, I add a little bit of liquid glue on each side of my glue dot. That's going to go right here between the 2 apples. And then lastly, we got to add the bling. So a big one and a small one over here, and a big one over there. And that's it for my 3 cards. So you guys, I am so in love with these dies. I am so glad. And you know, I had not purchased this stamp set. And when I found out that the dies were coming, I ordered them as a bundle. You do save 10% by ordering the bundle. So let me bring those cards back in. Here's stepped up number 2, stepped up number 1, and my clean and simple. So which one is your favorite? Most people always go with number 2, but I really like the background on number 3. And again, I will draw a name and let you know who gets to win one of each card sometime tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed my 3 projects. I will have the card fold that I was going to do tonight with next week's video. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you next week, hopefully. See you later. Bye-bye.